Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greeting to all of us. The Honorable Speaker, Ms. Farah Fatimah, and Ms. Annisa Amelia, the Honorable Indonesian University Rector, Mr. Alex, the Honorable Chairman English Language Department, Mr. Arif Muhammad, the Honorable all lecturer and staff of English Language Department, and also the audience and seminar participants. Firstly, let's say thanks to our God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has been giving us His blessing and mercy so that we can gather in this place without something wrong happen. Amin. Secondly, may peace be upon our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us into the right ways of life. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Elisa Adelia. As the Master of Ceremony, will guide you in this seminar. But before we starting our agenda, let me explain the agenda schedule of seminar about figure speech in Cinderella story. The first agenda is opening. The second agenda is greetings. The greeting will be delivered by the Indonesian University Rector. The third agenda is speech, the explanation from the speaker. And then the last agenda is closing. All blessed audience, the first agenda is opening. Let's start this agenda by reading Basmalah together. Then the second agenda is greeting. The greeting is from our Indonesian University Rector, Mr. Alex. Time is yours.
Thank you all for being here today, and I want to thank the panel severally and individually for having been here and having contributed to 2 days of such rich discussions. I also want to thank the audience. It takes a certain amount of rescheduling to do 3 things in a row and to be there every day and to be fully attending. Thank you very much for being here. Want to take this occasion just to thank everybody and also to say that the next Tanner lecture, the next series of Tanner lectures will be delivered by, I was going to say Rowan Atkinson, but I know that's wrong, by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams, not the current one, but the last Archbishop who is now the Master of Queen's College, Cambridge. And we will, of course, be going public with the title of his lectures and the dates as soon as we have them. But thank you very much for being here. We expect this panel to last anything from an hour and a quarter to 2 hours, depending on the conversation. And in fact, it's going to be very open after a set of exchanges by the panel and presentations by the panel. We can then just open it out. And thank you so much for Professor Mackelman.
Thank you very much for Mr. Alex for the greeting. The next agenda is the main agenda, which we are waiting for, the explanation from the speakers. Before we start, let me explain her profile. Ms. Farah is an English literature student from Yogyakarta State University 2019. This is her 3rd semester in Yogyakarta State University and she lives in Rembang. She was born in Denpasar, May 19, 2001. Well, now to Ms. Farah, the time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Farah Fatimah Sofyana, and in here I will tell you about characteristic of the Cinderella story. The first characterization is a literary device that is used step by step in literature to highlight and explain in details about a character in a story. The first characterization is a literary device that is used step by step in literature to highlight and explain in details about a character in a story. 2. Types of characterization. These two types of characterization include 1. Direct or explicit characterization. It uses another character, narrator, or the protagonist himself to tell the readers or audience about the subject. 2. Indirect or implicit characterization. This is a more subtle way of introducing the character to the audience. The audience has to deduce for themselves the characteristic of the character by observing his or her the process, behavior, speech, way of taking, appearance, and manner of communication with other characters, as well as by discerning the response of other characters. And the first character is Cinderella. Cinderella, she is kind-hearted girl and pious. She never asks for anything in her life and keep herself away from weakness. She was told by her mother before her mother died that she needs to be good and pious and God will always take care of her. However, as she is too kind, she always be the one bullied by her stepmother and sisters, doing everything they want and never fight back. For but means she was weak character but also strong at the same time because she still managed to endure all those hardship and working to get what she wants. 2. Stepmother. She is a truly evil character. In the beginning, she and her doctors mocked Cinderella and made her a maid in her own house by taking all crediting Cinderella on it. She also lied to Cinderella as if she were finishing all the works her stepmother asked. She will be able to go to the ball, but her stepmother was lying all the time just to make Cinderella doing all those pointless works. She was becoming more evil in the end of the story when she asked her own doctors to cut their parts of foot off so they can become a queen. 3. Stepsister. Just like how their mother is, they are also evil. They mock Cinderella all the time and also ask too many things to their father. Their character was not explained really well throughout the story and their existence is just to support their mother evil act and that is what makes them evil. He wants just like how he cannot draw the city to looking for the owner of the shoe, he has to find the love of his life. 4. Prince. He is a very determined character. He also do anything to get what he wants, just like how he cannot draw the city to looking for the owner of the shoe, he has to find the love of his life. He is also look like a kind of character that does not judge a person by their looks, just like how he still took Cinderella as her bride no matter how his appearance is at the time. 4. Cinderella's mother. Even though she appeared only at the beginning of the story, she gave an impression of a very kind woman by told Cinderella to live as a good and pious person. Her and Cinderella's character also very much alike each other. Number 5 is Cinderella's father. he is not a very strong character and getting swayed away easily, just like how he follows what her new wife and stepdaughter's order, and never really took a good care of Cinderella, even though she is his own daughter. Okay, thank you. I think that is my opinion about the characteristic of the Cinderella story. I'm sorry if I had a mistake. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Then the second speaker is Miss Annisa Amelia. Miss Amelia is also an English literature student in Yogyakarta State University, and she is now in her third semester, and she was born in Jakarta, March 28, 2001, and now she lives in Jakarta. To Miss Annisa Amelia, the time is yours. Thanks to all speakers. Please give them one more applause. Inviting all friends right now. We are going to discussion, question and answer session. Any question? Put your hands up and don't forget to mention your name.
Thank you, Elisa. So I want to explain. The first is about plot Cinderella, and the second is speech of figure. The first is introduction to plot. Once upon a time, there lived an unhappy young girl. Unhappy young girl because her mother was dead and her father had married another woman with a widow to doctor. And her stepmother and stepsister always irritate her, and she was named Cinderella. After the cedars, she swept out of the fireplace. And second, raising actions. Her mother, her stepmother and stepsister always told to do things like a slave, and her stepmother and stepsister didn't allow her go to the dance party in the palace. And three, climax. After dancing with the prince, she had to leave the ballroom and her slipper was left. The prince couldn't catch her. And the four, falling actions. The prince had meeting for all the women to get a slipper trial at his feet to meet Cinderella. And the last resolution is Cinderella got married with Prince, and they live happily ever after. So in the conflict about Cinderella is Cinderella versus her stepmother, so it is man versus man. And the last is speech of figure. Speech of figure is a word or phrase that possesses a separate meaning from its literal definitions. So, in speech of figure, I found the first metaphor. Metaphor is a figure of speech that, for rhetorical effect, directly refers to one thing by mentioning another. For example, and they were beautiful and fair in appearance, but at heart were black and ugly. This is an example to metaphor. The stepsisters were described as beautiful and fair in appearance, but at heart were black and ugly. A heart black and ugly was a metaphor to compare their heart to be black and ugly, which means that their personality was bad and evil and not as beautiful as their appearance. And the second is simile. Simile is a figure of speech and type of metaphor that compare two different things using the words like or as. For example, and because she always looked dusty and dirty, as if she had slept in the cedars. as if she had slept in the ciders is an example of simile to explain how dirty Cinderella is by comparing it as if she had slept in the cinders. Cinderella did not literally sleep in the cinders, but her appearance is so dirty as she had slept in the cinders. And example second is she leapt as lightly as a squirrel among the branches. Cinderella did not literally leap like how squirrel did, but she leapt so fast and agile, just like how squirrel would move among branches. And the third is assonance. Assonance is figure of speech in which the same vowel sound repeats within a group of words. For the example is O gentle doves, O turtle dove, and all the birds that be, the lentils that in ashes lie, come and pick up for me. The good must be put in the dish, that bad you may eat if you wish. This is the first example of the use assonance. This is what Cinderella cried over the dove to help her pick up the lentils in the ashes. The repetitions of S, E, and S that repeat 2 times each made the crying sounds like a spell to call the birds over to help her. And second example is little tree, shake over me, that silver and gold may come down and cover me. This is what Cinderella cried over the tree to help her to have a proper dress and shoes to go to the ball. The repetitions of E that repeat 3 times each made the crying sounds like a spell to ask the tree to do its magic to help her. And the last is hyperbole, is the use of exaggerations as a rhetorical device or figure of speech. The stepmother and the 2 sisters were thunderstruck. This is the example of the use of hyperbole. The stepmother and stepsisters did not literally strike by a thunder, but this means that they were so shocked, and it feels just like they were thunderstruck because how shocked they were. So that is my explanations of the plot and figure of speech. Thank you.
Okay, here you are, Miss Anita. The question is, why Cinderella's stepsister and stepmother hate her? And then the second question is from Mr. Zing. The question is Cinderella really happy when meets the prince? Thanks for all questioners. Let's take a look the answer from our speakers from the first question and continue with second question.
Okay, good questions. I think they were threatened by Cinderella because she was the only child and family that her father's has. They were afraid that the father might love Cinderella more and give all of his wealth to Cinderella.
Thank you for the questions, Elisa. The questions is Cinderella really happy when meets the prince? The answer is yes, she's happy meet the prince. Thank you.
So, from this seminar, we know that there are 6 characters in Cinderella's story by Grimm, and then the protagonist is Cinderella. She known as a kind-hearted girl and so patient. Then the antagonist is Cinderella's stepmother and stepsister because they are evil and rude, and the mother and the father are the supporting role. After we talk about the character, now we talk about the figure of speech. In this story, there are four. The first one is metaphor in the sentence, and they were beautiful and fair in appearance, but at heart were black and ugly. It refers in a heart were black and ugly. Then the second one is simile. It is an and because she always looked dusty and dirty, as if she had slept in her cinders, it is explained how dirty she is. Then, assonance. In little tree, shake over me, the silver and gold may come down and cover me. It is repeated 3 times, and the last one is hyperbole. The stepmother and the two sisters were thunderstruck. Thunderstruck, this is have meaning is shocked. After that, the plot is look forward with man versus man. That is Cinderella versus her mother and her stepmother and her stepsister. It divided into introduction, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, finally we come to the end of our seminar. We would like to say thanks again to presenter for the informative and interesting talk, and audience for active participation. Apologize if any words that less pleasing to the audience here. Hopefully the presentation will be beneficial for everybody. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.